Hey everybody, welcome back to I Know a Guy. If you're new here, my name's Anthony. I'm a business profit advocate. On this show, we interview entrepreneurs, business owners, professionals, and people doing cool things. For example, today we're meeting Alan Lazaros. He's the founder and CEO of Next Level University, a global top 100 self-improvement podcast that inspires listeners in over 175 countries. After surviving a near-fatal car accident, Alan transformed his life through holistic self-improvement and now empowers others as a business coach to start, grow, scale, and monetize their businesses online through his heart-driven yet no-nonsense approach. How are you doing today, Alan?
Very well. I told you earlier in the sort of pre-chat that I am at the end of 2024. I'm reflecting on the year, sort of designing and redesigning the roadmap for 2025 while also still sort of on the treadmill. So it's definitely an interesting time, but I'm grateful to be here. Thank you for having me.
No, I was excited to have you on. Your story's, it's kind of incredible. So it was really cool to hear. Really cool to hear it. I think others could benefit from it. But to start off, where are you calling in from? Where are you located?
Massachusetts. Yeah, so right on the border of Rhode Island, a little town called Uxbridge.
Okay. Born and raised there? Are you newer to the area?
Yeah, born and raised in Massachusetts. Yep.
Gotcha. I've never made it to that part of the East Coast. What do you recommend people do if they're coming to visit for the first time? Like, what's fun there?
Hiking. The forests are gorgeous. Yeah, New England forests are great.
I gotcha. Awesome. Is it like a year-round hikeable up there, or is there certain seasons that it's better to be?
Yeah, spring.
Spring.
Spring is unreal. Spring is just gorgeous. It's and fall also, if you like the foliage and the changing colors of the leaves and stuff, that's also very beautiful. But don't go in the winter.
Yeah. Gotcha. I'm in Iowa, so we don't do much in the winter
Yeah,
anyway. So I'll have
gotcha.
to find somewhere else to go. So I gotcha. Awesome, awesome. So what can you tell us about what you do?
Okay, so business coaching, and there's what people come to you for what they want, and then there's what they need. And I started out as 10 years ago, I started mentoring, and then 8 years ago, I started coaching. And I started out as a mindset coach and a self improvement coach and a peak performance coach and life coach for a short time, all these different things I tried. And I realized over time that people don't necessarily pay for a self improvement coach. So eventually I was a business consultant. I have my computer engineering degree. I've got my master's in business. So I figured, okay, let me give this a shot. I've got my own online business. So I have this sort of philosophy: do it for yourself and then share your experience on social media. And then you generate interest and then you do it for others. And when you do it for others, you can get paid to do that. That's turning your passion into purpose, into profit. And that's really what I'm doing ultimately. But my point of that is people come to me for growing their revenue. They want to grow their revenue. They need to. They have skin in the game. They're business owners and they need to succeed. But what they really need, that's what they want, is to grow their revenue. What they really need is usually self improvement. And so I do goals. I always have to close my eyes for this. We get clarity on your goals, your priorities, your metrics, your habits, your skills, and your identity. And if those are all in alignment, and that's what I've got it boiled down to, the tip of the iceberg is the results and the revenue, but what's underneath that is really alignment. And alignment around those things is actually really hard to do, especially consistently. So that's ultimately what I do. I coach 28 people right now, and they're all different industries, all different countries, all different backgrounds. But the principles stay the same. The principles do stay the same. And yeah, that's what I'm mainly focused on. The principles are the least sexy, but the most important.
Yeah, there's a lot to that. Like you said, what they want versus what they need. They're trying to buy a nice pair of gloves and their fingers are broken, right? It's not going to fit. Let's solve the underlying problem, and then the glove's going to fit fine. So that's perfect. I like that. So you got started because you kind of discovered, hey, self-improvement isn't something that I'm able to help with, and then you went through your system and then ended up being able to launch this. What's something that if you had to restart today, you wish you would have knew back then?
I wish I had known that the top of the business model, for lack of better phrasing, is more about sharing your experience and less about. It's almost like you need permission to coach. People say, "Well, you're kind of coachy." It's like, "Well, I'm a coach." Ultimately, what I've figured out is that if you build meaningful relationships around a core value, that's when you end up actually getting clients. And at the top of the business model, you have to cast a wide net. So what I mean by that is, okay, so social media for us, the top of the business model. Social media is Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We do a little bit on Instagram Threads, which is new, which I like. And then I'm on TikTok, but almost never use it. It's just clips from the podcasts that are on there. That's a wide net. Let's say you have 10,000 people that watch. 1,000 of those people might listen to your podcast. Of the 1,000 people that listen to your podcast, 100 of them might come to your private Facebook group. Of those people, 10 might come to a monthly meetup and one might end up a client. And that's, if I could go back in time, I would realize that there's only a few things that really matter when it comes to growing and scaling your business online. And it really comes down to, if you have you ever heard of the flywheel concept by Jim
Yep.
Collins, Good to Great? Okay. Uh, the flywheel is basically this idea that you have these four things that you do and you do them so well and they all feed each other. So for example, the first one I think is do it for yourself. Lead by example. Okay, so self-improvement podcast, Next Level University. We'll use Next Level University as an example. I do my own self-improvement. I track my own habits. I do my own journaling. Blah, blah, blah. I read. Okay, then you share your experience on social media. That's social media is about sharing. It's not about preaching. It's about sharing. And then naturally you generate interest. Other people who love self-improvement or fitness or whatever it is you're about, they start to reach out. They start to follow you. They start to DM you. They start to notice your content. Those are your people. And then those are the people that you eventually have as clients. And so, for example, I always say Tesla should not sell energy drinks and Red Bull should not sell cars. The point is that you're only really going to be known in the marketplace for one, two, maybe three things. So I have all my clients have their top three core values and I have them post only content around those three. And it's really, so for us, it's health, wealth, and love. But ultimately, I'm a business coach who helps people grow and scale their businesses online. And the only way they can do that is if they really focus in on what their core value is. What's the one thing that they're obsessed with that they would do for the rest of their lives? And I know that's a very cagey question, but for me, fitness, Kevin and I, business partners, we love fitness. So we have a fitness accountability group with like 35 people in there. We're never not going to do fitness anyway. We might as well share it and help other people stay accountable because everyone struggles with fitness. There's no one out there who doesn't need more accountability in fitness. And so, but you're only going to be known for a couple things and you got to figure out what those things are. And usually they're your passions, they're your core values. And if you build a business that's not aligned with your core values, you're either going to be successful and unfulfilled or completely unsuccessful because you're not going to be able to be consistent.
So between, the fitness group, your podcast, the coaching, what's your favorite thing about what you're doing?
Spreading self improvement. So 10 years ago, I got in a car accident. You mentioned it in my bio. And my father passed away in a car when he was 28. I was two. And when I was 26, I got in a car accident that was not a fender bender. It was not good. Fortunately, we were physically okay, me and my little cousin Dan. But it was sort of the second chance my dad never got. And for me, when I faced mortality in that very visceral way, it made me realize that I was wildly unfulfilled. I was successful from the outside in. I had a computer engineering degree, master's in business. I was a 1% global earner. I had $150,000 in a Vanguard account, investments. I was out of debt. I paid off 84 grand worth of debt in a single year. College. I was in my early to mid 20s. I had a beautiful girlfriend. I had more than enough money, but I was unfulfilled inside. I was drinking too much and too often. I was not healthy. I wasn't taking my life as seriously as I needed to. And I was not even close to tapping my true potential. And that bothered me so much. And so after 26, I found self improvement, personal development, personal growth, self improvement, mental health, all these things. And I dialed that shit up to 11. And I haven't stopped ever since. And now I'm way more internally fulfilled and externally successful, even though I had to go through, this is what I would say. So I was unsuccessful and unfulfilled when I was young. Most people start there. And my childhood was not good. There was some good spots, but for the most part, it was pretty terrible. Then by 26, I was externally successful, but internally unfulfilled. Then I flipped the script and I went past broke, liquidated all my assets. I actually started my own company. Now I'm super fulfilled, happy, healthy, productive, fitness model, fitness competitor, fitness coach in my late 20s, but I'm not successful. So I can't sustain it. And in my 30s, finally, Kevin and I finally are internally fulfilled and externally successful. And now it's just how do you keep upping the ante? How do you keep getting to the next level, next level, next level? And that's a mountain that gets higher as you climb it. So unfortunately, very few people, statistically speaking, make it to that fourth bucket. being externally successful and internally fulfilled is very hard because usually what the economy pays a lot for, not always, but usually is not always what's your passion and your purpose. It's very hard to align your passion, your purpose with what's profitable. It's not easy to do that. Yeah.
So self-improvement, that's a huge topic. And what's weird about it is I only ever really heard about it or hear about it in the entrepreneurial space. Seems like entrepreneurs are the only ones that really talk about it. If you're talking to you're just your regular Joe, maybe just working 9 to 5, they don't really look at that very much. And I wonder if it's just a mentality difference where your income's directly related to how self-improved you can be as opposed to, kind of being comfortable. But everybody can benefit from it, even if, that's all you want to do. But like you said, you can be more fulfilled by doing it. If somebody's never looked into self-improvement, what's the first book or first speaker you recommend they look into to get that ball rolling?
Whoa. Great question, Anthony. I appreciate it. First book, not best book, but first book, Atomic Habits. You got to go Atomic Habits. What a fucking awesome book. Pardon my French, by the way. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear. What a great book. Thank you, James Clear. I mean, ultimately, there's a lot of great self-improvement books. Atomic Habits has got to be one of the best. I have it behind me. There's also The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. There's certain, now again, these are entry-level books for self-improvement. Like The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, those, I would go with Atomic Habits if I had to pick one.
Hmm. That's interesting. Yeah, I always lean toward How to Win Friends and Influence People, just because there
Yeah.
isn't an instance in your life where communicating better isn't going to help you. And I
Yeah.
think it should be mandatory reading in high school. A lot of these should.
Agreed.
So anyway,
Yeah, man. Oh,
uh,
I tried to bring personal development to the school systems. That is how I failed. That was
yeah,
a dumb idea.
that's a hard nut to crack. You're kind of going up
Yeah,
against the
man.
wall there. But
Yeah.
okay, awesome. So when you are looking at your clients and the people you've been able to help along the way, what's the average through line? Who's somebody or what's a pain point that somebody might have that if they have this, they should talk to you?
Yeah, so everyone has the issue of overwhelm. There's n- there's no one who is good at everything, number one. Number two, there's no one who doesn't have more to do than can possibly be done. And the bigger your goals are, the more you have to focus. I am convinced that focus is by far the most important skill, and it's a skill. Our minds wander so quickly. So, this is the metaphor that I use with my entire team and all of my clients. So, right now, I'm coaching 37 people, 17-person team, 28 clients. So, the metaphor that I've been using, I know that that numbers didn't add up. The core team is only 9 people, by the way. 8, because I'm including me in that. So that's 37. 37, I know, is the number of people that I'm coaching one on one. Okay. Of all those people, everyone has this issue. I'm overwhelmed. It's the 21st century and I'm constantly distracted. And it's very hard for me to actually stay focused. There's no one who doesn't struggle to stay focused nowadays. How noisy is the 21st century? I mean, what is it? There's more information produced in one day than there was an entire year back in the early 1900s. It's wild. So 5.85 billion human beings online. We are interconnected. We have things no one else had, but staying focused is just nearly impossible. So how do you do it? This is the metaphor. We're all jugglers. I said this on my team huddle. We do it every other week. I said in 2025, we're all jugglers. First rule, take care of the juggler. The juggler goes down, all the balls go down. Okay, so take care of the juggler. Take care of yourself first. Self-care, health, wellness, sleep. I have an Aura ring. I track my sleep score. My team, most of them have auras. I don't sell auras, by the way. So it's self. Don't forget about the juggler. That's the hashtag. Don't forget about the juggler. Second thing, we're all juggling 12 balls. You're a mom or you're a dad or you own a house, fitness, all these different responsibilities, career, take out the trash, recycling, all this. We're all juggling 12 balls. 9 of them are rubber and they'll bounce. You can drop them and they're not going to break. You can pick them back up. 3 of them are glass. Never drop the glass balls. Never. Those are your top 3 priorities. Everyone on my team and everyone I coach has top 3 priorities. Mine are coaching, training, and podcasting. That's actually why I'm here. It's one of my glass balls. Now, if you have to drop a glass ball, one of them's gold, one of them's silver, and one of them's bronze. So earlier today, I was supposed to be on a podcast, and I was on with a client. His name's Raja. Struggle bussing, end of the year, and we were getting into it. And I went 8 minutes over. I was supposed to be on a podcast. I said, dude, I gotta go. And we were in it, and I was like, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'm gonna reschedule. I emailed the guy. I said, I'm sorry, I gotta reschedule. My bad. The golden glass ball is coaching. You know, Forrest Gump, never take your eye off the ball.
Yep.
That is the way I am now with coaching. One-on-one coaching for me and my company, Next Level University, Podcast Growth University, Business Growth University, is coaching. That's my most important skill. That's the one thing that I can do that other people cannot do at the same level. So that's the one ball I can never drop. And if I'm going to drop podcasting, which is the bronze ball, I better pick up a gold one. And so that's the metaphor that I use for all my clients, all my team members. All of us have our P1, P2, P3. It's called a P3 target, and it's priority 1, priority 2, priority 3. Ideally, you'd have priority 3 be 1 to scale. Priority 2 would be 1 to several, and then priority 1 would be 1 to 1, because 1 to 1 is where you make the most money, typically business to business. But ultimately, if you're a business owner, you have to generate revenue. You will go out of business if you don't. Never drop the golden glass ball. And the golden glass ball is profitable. It needs to be a profitable use of your time. And the silver glass ball should be indirectly profitable. And then the bronze glass ball should be long-term indirectly profitable. So for example, Next Level University, the podcast is not profitable, not directly. It's indirectly profitable because we produce 54 other podcasts, and without our podcast being successful, they wouldn't trust us to produce theirs. Right? And if I wasn't a CEO and a business owner, my clients would not trust me with their businesses. So, and nor should they, by the way. So that's really the thing that, to answer your original question, every human on this earth right now who is connected to the internet and devices and all this is wildly distracted, wildly overwhelmed, and everyone needs help prioritizing.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah, it might be a common trait between, just entrepreneurs in general, but being able to squirrel after stuff and dropping those glass balls is kind of a more common than it should be thing. So how about power partners? Who do you tend to synergize well with? Other coaches or other industries or people that you can refer back and forth well with?
Hmm. Anyone who's really, really, really not talking about it, not pretending, but like obsessed with self-improvement, that tends to be the people that are in our vortex of influence consistently. And like attracts like. So if I get my clients to lean more into who they are. So I have 3 clients in particular that are twice a week. They're my crazies, is what I call them. Only those who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. That's a Steve Jobs quote. And we all change the world in our own way, right? You touch, 100 people, they touch 100 people, they touch 100 people. That's a million right there. So we all change the world in our own way and be the change you wish to see in the world. That's a Gandhi quote. And so I help them lean into their own potential, their own unique potential, which then through self-improvement, which then illuminates to their friend groups, and their friend groups, to your point earlier, either go, good for you, or they are attracted in. So I always use a wedding as an example. The reason why weddings are so uncomfortable is because we go to someone's wedding, and the only thing any of us have in common is that we all knew this couple at some point in our lives. And that's why there's open bar and it's always social anxiety, because no one has anything in common at a wedding. You start talking about atomic habits at a wedding, good luck. Okay. And people are just going to walk away. But if you talk about atomic habits and you have the courage to do it, yes, 9 out of 10 people are going to be like, okay, now's not the time, bro. But there's going to be that one person who comes to you later and goes, I love that book. That book changed my life. There's a power partner. And so you have to have the courage to be weird. Own your weird, because that's how your people are going to find you, because they're weird too. They're just hiding.
It's funny the way that sometimes certain recordings and certain podcasts and guests, they start to form certain commonalities between them, and one of the more recent one is being authentic. That's really, really important because we all know in business it's a trope, the know, like, trust. If somebody doesn't know who you are, they're not going to like you, they're not going to trust you. So being authentic, saying, this is me, find your weird, find that 1 out of 10 that's going to have that actual in-depth, actual conversation with you is super, super important. So holistic self-improvement, first off, how do you, what is that at its core to you? And then how can that actually transform somebody's life?
What is holistic self-improvement at its core? It's not just reaching your potential, but it's reaching your potential in a well-rounded way. So we've got it boiled down to health, wealth, and love. Health is physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Wealth is how you earn your money. In other words, do you love what you do? Is it fulfilling? How much do you earn? Is that increasing or decreasing over time based on the future economy? And then what do you do with that money? Do you reinvest it in the business? Do you invest it in stocks? Do you spend it? Are you a consumer or an investor? Right? All that. And then love, which is your intimate relationship, immediate family, pets, loved ones, acquaintances, friends, family, all that. And it ripples outward. Health, wealth, and love. And the most important thing to understand about holistic self improvement, and this is what I wish I knew at the beginning because I was a naive optimist. I believe in myself a lot and I wanted to, change the world. And that's who I am. So own your weird. And I'm not just saying it, I really live it. And I was overly optimistic. Let me explain. If you if you're top if you're 1 in 1,000, which is 1% of 1% in health, 1% of 1%, 1 in 1,000 in wealth, and 1% of 1%, 1 in 1,000 in love, if you do the math on the statistics of that, you're actually 1 in 1 billion. So you're 1 out of 8 humans on the planet if you can actually achieve that. Whoa. So first of all, not gonna happen unless you are wildly dialed in. Secondly, it's a mountain that you are climbing and it is Mount Everest. And if you think it's going to be easy, you are screwed. Holistic is not normal. And the reason why is it's ridiculously difficult. It's ridiculously difficult. That's why Michael Jordan, when he played baseball, he wasn't that good because you're not going to get world class at many things. So if you're going to be world class at self improvement, I recommend you focus on health, wealth, and love. And I recommend that you do it in cycles. So right now I'm mostly focused on wealth because my relationship is in coast mode. It's really, really good. Not fully coast mode, but pretty well. And then health, I'm exercising consistently, but my diet's not as on point as it could be. So I have a level 10, a 9, and an 8 priority at all times. And obviously my 10 for wealth is coaching, training, podcasting. So you zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. And then coaching, okay, what do I have to do for coaching? Zoom in, boom, boom, boom. So holistic self improvement is basically be all you can be, not fortune cookie quote, but like every day, and be well rounded so that you don't end up wealthy and divorced.
Yeah, yeah, that I never really thought about that being, one of 8 people in the world by, accomplishing that's really interesting. And way more people have climbed Mount Everest than 8. So it is,
Yeah.
hard things are worth doing though. So doing like what you said and working on all 3 individually, letting the others, that makes a lot of sense. How does, that partner with, the next level concept, your podcast, everything next level? How do you define next level? And what are some of the first steps that people could take when they're hearing this? They're like, hey, I may never be one of those 8 people, but I can get really, really close, or I can start trying to get to there. What is next level?
Next level is this idea where no matter how hard your past has been, no matter how hard it is in the present, you have another level you can reach. You have a bigger, better, brighter future. You have the opportunity for a bigger, better, brighter future. To me, there's nothing more exciting than that. I mean, we're about to come up on January 1st. You have a new year, and we all do. And yeah, in some ways it's an arbitrary number. In other ways, it's what can I do in 2025 and who can I become? And I think it starts with self-acceptance of who you really are and what you did and didn't do well in 2024, and then it's self-improvement after that. And so next level is a mountain that gets higher as you climb it, and it's believing in yourself and investing in yourself so that you can have a bigger, better, brighter future. Because when you do that, you inspire others. And the whole world gets better. When you get better, the whole world gets better. People think like, oh, well, that's selfish. Listen, when you get in better shape, you inspire everyone around you. We all understand the 6 foot distancing in COVID. And the reason why is because you don't want to catch COVID. But there's the opposite positive end of that equation too, where if you're in better shape, you're going to inspire and motivate other people to be in better shape. And they might catch COVID metaphorically. And that's really what it is human beings are tribal creatures, and you being the better version of yourself authentically is going to inspire other people, and they'll transform. It's awesome. Now keep in mind, some people will hate you. Right? You'll get kisses on the cheek on one hand and then kicks in the face on the other. But ultimately, that's how you change the world, is getting to your own unique next level. And there is a next level, no matter where you are. And there's a next level. I mean, a lot of our dreams we've accomplished. Not all of them by any means, but we're not done. We're never done. We're gonna keep upping the ante. We can do more. We can give more. We can impact more people. We can tweak and iterate. And how can we improve the cameras? But I mean, there's never not going to be a way to. I mean, last piece, if you take this iPhone 14, when I was a senior in high school, they came out with the first iPhone, 2007. I mean, that was a revolutionary breakthrough product. That would be hot garbage compared to this now. It'd be terrible. It wouldn't even be close, right? Because that's 14, 15, however many years of improvements. So next level is about self-improvement, and it's a mountain that gets higher as you climb it. It never ends. You never reach your true potential. It's an asymptote. You get closer and closer and closer and closer and closer, but you never really get there. And it's an infinite game, and it's awesome. I think that's ultimately what we all want. We all want to grow and contribute and do it in a way where we can increase our quality of life, because the quality of life is a byproduct of your own self-improvement set point. I mean, I'm Alan version 3.6 now. I'm 36. My life is so much better than when I was 26. It's not even close. But I'm also so much better than when I was 26.
That's yeah, no, absolutely. With over 175 countries tuning into your podcast, what are some of the most valuable lessons that you've learned by connecting with a global audience on self-improvement?
Well, one thing is that I coach, like I said, 28 people, and they're all different countries. New Zealand, Australia, Italy for a while. I had a team member, Philippines, blah, blah, blah. One thing that I very much noticed is, and I'll speak from their mouth, not mine, because I born and raised in America, and that had some advantages and disadvantages. One of the advantages is it's by far the largest economy. You can look that up. The states are, yeah, it's by far the largest economy on planet Earth. Now, that said, I think it's also come with a lot of entitlement, and I don't want to pick on my own country. I grew up in a very, very, very challenging circumstances, so I feel like the entitlement was ripped from me just through massive adversity, which we don't necessarily have to get into. Lost my father at 2, stepfather left, took his whole extended family with him, like all that stuff. So what I've heard from my global audience and my clients is that while the US is very entitled because we're kind of spoiled, and I don't think anyone would deny that, let's be real, we also have this really aspirational thing going for us. For some reason, we think we're very dream chasers, which, by the way, I actually had a trouble with that because I grew up in a small town. So to me, it was like there's something called tall poppy syndrome in Australia where basically anyone with big dreams is like made fun of. And to them, the US doesn't have that. The US has that. If you have big goals and dreams, you get made fun of all the time, behind your back, sometimes to your face. It's just not normal. But apparently, it's more normal in the US. That said, what I would say, sort of macro, every culture has its own mindset. And everyone, if they really want to succeed at the highest level and reach their potential, they're going to have to overcome the mindset of their own culture. So the mindset of my culture is very entitled. I mean, minimum wage here is more than, you know, it's what, 14 times minimum wage in the Philippines, right? So how can you not be entitled when you just don't know what it's like to actually suffer? So I try really hard to overcome my entitlement because I obviously have gifts that not everyone has. I got financial aid to go to college. I not only that, but Australia only has 47 schools in the entire country. We have 5,200 in the US, right? Colleges. So I think perspective, and everyone has to overcome whatever their culture's bottleneck is. I think the US's culture's bottleneck is this entitlement, this whole 4 hour work week thing. I mean, that's just hot garbage.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and we do have a bit of that tall poppy syndrome. If you have a decent job and you come out and say, "Hey, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to start my own business," you're going to hear it, right? They're going to say,
Mm-hmm.
"Why? That you have everything you need. Don't throw it away." But also to your point earlier, I think I read somewhere or I heard somewhere that you're more likely to become a millionaire in the United States if you weren't born here, because you can come in and you have the work
Yeah,
ethic and all the stuff that you went through, and you're like, hey,
makes
this
sense.
is crazy opportunity. Let's take advantage of it. Where a lot of us, like you said, we have that self-entitlement where it should be given to me, whatever it is. So that's really interesting. Is there anything that I missed or failed to ask that you wanted to add?
I enjoyed this a lot. I really appreciate it. Um, Anything you failed to ask? I mean, I'm an existentialist, so there's probably 8,000 questions I could think of. No, no, I feel good. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, what's the best way that people get a hold of you or find you?
So the podcast is called Next Level University. We have a website called nextleveluniverse.com, all spelled just like it sounds. If you Google my name, that the social media handles will definitely come up. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. The thing that I often say, just because I don't want to waste anyone's time and I don't want them to waste mine, is if you're humble and grateful and you want to earn your way day by day to success and fulfillment, you will love Next Level University. You'll love Kev. He's the ultimate tryhard. Came from nothing. You'll love it. You'll love it, and you'll enjoy me as well. If you have any level of entitlement whatsoever and you want big rewards for minimal effort, you're not going to like either of us. So just honestly, don't even reach out. We are very tryhards. We both came from very, very humble beginnings. We both didn't have dads, and we believe in work ethic and humility and just earning every penny. um, Not, metaphorically too, not just wealth, but health as well. So, uh, yeah, if you resonated with this and you resonate with me, there's something to it. Reach out and just please, if you do, provide context, obviously, because we all get a bunch of spam.
Perfect. Yeah, if anybody would like to reach out to Alan, if any of that resonated with you, if you're all on board with self improvement, if you're wanting to go down that path or already on that path and just want more direction, absolutely reach out to Alan. If you're a little bit more shy and you prefer an introduction, ask me. I'm more than happy to introduce you as well. If somebody out there would like to be interviewed, feel free. You can get a hold of me as well. I'm going to have all of Alan's links in the description. My link tree will be below, so feel free to grab a time with me. But otherwise, Alan, I really appreciate you coming on, taking the time to pour into us. I can't agree with you more with the self improvement. It's something that we don't focus on enough, and it's the most obvious thing that we overlook. Where it's what's going to improve us the most and help our business or every part of our life. So we need to do it every day and get better at it. So let's all get out there. Let's all work on improving ourselves, get our glass balls, and keep them in the air and meet some more people. All right,
Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate it.
my pleasure.